Oh, yeah. We are live. Good evening. Looking like extras from a Janet Jackson video. What was it, Rhythm Nation? We could be elderly members of...
93?
No, it's later than that, surely.
Really?
Was it?
I don't know. I thought
Write
it
in
was,
and tell us when Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation was a hit. I'm going for about 87. We'll hopefully find out by the end of the show. I'll make sure I write that down and let all our, both I should say, our listeners and viewers know.
Yes.
And for the hard of hearing, listen. And for those that are partially sighted, it's a pretty good thing you are, because we're not very good looking. Come on. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Can we still sing that song?
I don't think you can. Well,
Can we not?
Don't know. No.
Only a song. Welcome back, folks. The show returns once again like a second round of herpes, but with less cold sores. We are back this week on the show. We've got all the news that's not fit to print in the news. We're going to be delving into your correspondence in that part of this show. And we're also, part of the show we like to call the mailbag. We've got an amazing competition as well. Do you know your engine management light, Simon, from your temperature gauge? Do you know the light that tells you your tire's flat from the one that shows you the boot is open? If so, we've got a quiz for you called Dashboard Damage. It challenges you to show your knowledge of those annoying LEDs that appear in your instrument cluster. And talking of annoying things, here's Simon.
Thanks a lot. Yes, if I'd be a light, I'd be the ABS light on your dashboard. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant still. That's what ABS stands for.
Maybe.
We have a great show for you on the way today with somewhere exciting and international and exotic in the Lost Highway section of the show. And an amazing vintage car in our classic car selection this week. Pre-VW Empire, it's the Seat Ibiza.
Wow.
System Porsche.
Isn't that just like the Fox, the VW Fox?
No, this was before VW had their fingers in the pie.
Okay.
So that's Seat Ibiza. And we'll be asking the age-old question: if the red light means stop and the green light means go and the amber light means go faster?
That's what I've told my children.
If you know what that is, answer on the postcard to HJP Wormwood Scrubs, London. So stay tuned for all of this and more. I'm Simon Sujuan, and we're having a gangbang, we're having a ball, we're having a gangbang against the wall. We'd like you to join us. It's part of the fun. Oh, gangbanging, it's the thing to do.
Simon Sujuan there, singing about what he last got up to over the past week or so. He loves the band Black Lace, and of course, dogging. I'm Richard Green, and I don't know why she's leaving. I don't know where she's going to go, but I guess she's got her reasons, but I just don't want to know, because for 24 years I've been living next door to Alice.
Alice.
And if you know the rest of that song, you are showing your age. And this... It's Car-Boyz.
This is Car-Boyz.
Yeah, let's go for it. It's time for my rant. It's when I take a sideways view of the world from my own weird, and it could be argued, warped perspective. Unlike other sections of the podcast, this will be an open debate. You could say a mass debate. But who am I kidding here? It actually is total dictatorship. I rule unchallenged in the role as El Jefe. But I digress. This week, I've been thinking about how after 60 years of car ownership for the common man in England, we're about to turn the clock back more than a century, and car owners could end up, well, cars could just be owned by the very, very rich. In recent news, 500,000 motorists in, get it, London, Bath, Bristol, and Birmingham face being priced off the road due to clean air zone charges and charges in our city centres. If you've got a car, I tell you to get out there and check your reg online quickly. The AA have said drivers who use their cars for essential journeys may not be able to afford fees for city driving. Birmingham's introducing a clear air zone on June the 1st, while drivers in London, the low emission zone will be expanded on the 25th. That takes it all the way out to the north and south circular, which is what I consider proper London. Drivers are charged for entering certain areas in vehicles that do not meet minimum emission standards. Daily fees in London, daily fees, £12.50 in London. By the way, there's nobody in London at the moment. And Birmingham, £8. The AA estimates the capital's residents own between 250,000 and 300,000 non-compliant cars. A friend of mine has just sold his R-Reg 1998 BMW and swapped it for a brand new Dacia Duster. Yeah, that's my
Why?
expression. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's ULEZ compliant.
Okay.
He's going to be my experiment. I'm going to see how fast this brand new Dacia Dust rusts. A further 100,000 vehicles liable for the charge normally enter the City of London from outside the expanded ULEZ zone each day. The same amount of affected cars are owned by people living in Birmingham. That means up to 500,000 drivers will be denied access to 2 inner cities or face charges. Edmund King, AA president, commented, that's the Automobile Association, not president of a country called AA. That'd be like a Manchester country, a Liverpool country, wouldn't it? AA. Millions of drivers in London, he said, will find themselves on the wrong side of the road when the ULEZ scheme is expanded. There's a very real risk, he said it like that, that many people who rely on their car for essential journeys will be priced off the road and up the proverbial without a paddle. He didn't say the last bit. Now, there's an example. My mate's just sold the old BMW because he needs to go in and out of Wandsworth, which I think is parts of it are in the new ULEZ zone. Right. So he's bought himself a Dacia Duster, and in white as well. That'll show up all the rust.
Nice.
Now, my father drives an old Honda Civic Coupe, 2003. It meets no emission levels in any of the UK cities. So not London, not Bristol, not Birmingham. Now, in London, I've said to him, I live outside the zone. So if you need to go into London, drive to me, park the car, grab the keys for my car and carry on.
Yeah.
Problem is Birmingham. So he's got a few medical issues and his doctor is in Birmingham. Thankfully, we checked last night, his hospital isn't in the ULEZ area. He'll be able to get to see his consultant without paying £8 each time for the privilege. Now, the thing is, to be honest, he's an old git, but he could probably afford a new car, but he doesn't want one. He's a type mean son of a what's it. But there's going to be lots of people that won't be able to afford it. You remember being sort of 22 and you had a banger and that's all you could afford.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's got a 15-year-old diesel, maybe even a 5 or 6-year-old diesel. They are not ULEZ compliant. They can't afford to just keep buying a new car. What are they supposed to do? Pay the charge every time, get on the train, get on the bus? Now, make a note of this. You can challenge the ULEZ ruling if you get your car to the emission levels from your car. You take the emission levels, you submit them to the city council in question. It's going to cost you £100 each time. They may still refuse this application, but if it passes, they have to pass your car. The problem being, they don't blanket that across everything. That's fixed. They don't say, right, every R-Reg 1998 or Mondeo can now go in. No, you have to apply to take your car in. In other news, we hear that a direct rival to Tesla's Model S is due to go on sale earlier this next year for £51,000. It's going to be called the Neo ET7. It's got a fantastic battery that gives it a range of 621 miles. If you believe that, you believe anything. The trouble is, they're saying this is cheap. I can't afford a £50,000 car. I can't even afford a £25,000 car. There certainly aren't any new electric cars coming out sub £25,000. So the question is, are poor people going to be forced off the road because their cars are too polluting? Only the rich will be allowed to drive cars, albeit electric ones. So it's going to be like 1921 again, is it? We'll all be relegated back to the bicycle. Maybe you could afford a moped, motorbike or footpaths. My grandfather didn't have a car till the 1960s. He had a motorcycle sidecar combination with 1, 2, 3, 4. He could get 6 people in it.
Brilliant.
Massive sidecar. Now, plus, am I being stupid here? But surely an older car is more environmentally friendly than a newer one. It's been around longer. You've not had to build another car to replace it, which causes lots of pollution. Plus, it may only do 20 mpg and give off a few pollutants, but a brand new electric car uses rare earths, which are terrible for the environment, we know this, and it uses electricity, which is mostly produced by burning fossil fuels and not the tears of dolphins. So, go online after the show, check whether your car is ULEZ compliant in Birmingham, Bath, Bristol and London. But remember, you could always just head over to Calais, buy a French car, drive it round the UK. No tax, no insurance, no fines, no problem at all. Just remember the phrase Je suis français, je ne parle pas anglais, je suis sur mon vacances.
You have to do the hand movements as well.
And possibly smell like garlic. Also, always wear a Breton shirt and a beret. Any thoughts, Simon?
It's yeah, they're just pricing the motorists on. Did you know that the car though is one of the most recycled or recyclable products in the world?
Is it really?
Yeah. So think of all the parts that are on there. They're mostly recyclable.
Plastic on it's recyclable.
Yeah.
The metal gets, I guess,
Yeah.
gets well because you even get money. You've got a car coming up later on in the show. We do have the turd of the week, and we have a car that should be just sent straight to the scrap dealers.
I
Yeah,
can
because
smell it from here.
it'll just be. I mean, you know, you can stick. I stuck some old radiators outside my house the other day. I had new radiators put in one of the bathrooms, and very posh. And the old ones went outside, and I said to him, "Oh, you going to take that?" Because he said, "Oh no," and it was gone in 10 minutes. It's gone. So the scrap merchant. The Tinkers came round. Can you still say that? Probably.
I see.
They
No.
came round. No, the Rag and Bone Man. Oh no, he's releasing singles this week. Steptoe and Son came round and took it away. So there's money in scrap metal. So
Yeah.
great thing. The car is in. I think everything. The only problem being, according to my tyre guy, is it's very hard to get rid of the tyres.
Yes, they're probably not recyclable.
No, but they do
but
try
then they're
and
not.
chop them up for playgrounds and stuff like this.
Yeah, because I was going to say they're not entirely rubber now, are they? They're made of compounds and this, that,
There's
and the
other
other.
stuff in them. Before we do the news, that is my rant. My
Yeah.
rant is over. But please go online and check your car. This only occurred to me this week, and I was like, I'm okay. Hang on, Dad, what's your reg? And I checked it and went, your car, you can't go to Birmingham anymore. He's like, I don't want to go to Birmingham anyway. I was like, yeah, but you got to see a consultant. Oh, shit. And then he's going to come down to London. I was like, well, you can come to me because I'm slightly outside the. It's ridiculous because that zone is huge. Plus, I'm going to have one more thing about it. Old cars will disappear. You will not see. I saw a Ford Sierra the other day. When was the last time you saw a Ford Sierra? 2 years ago?
A while back.
So it's a 30. It was an e-reg. So it's a 34-year-old car, and that will be gone. I mean, there's no cars left. So why are we getting in a fuss at something about nothing? Plus, if you have a classic car, can you drive in and out?
There's a very famous motoring journalist who has taken on our advice, and he came out this week and he said he's buying 3 cars if they bring the electric vehicle date forward.
Oh yeah, so he'll be ready just to have a car after car after car. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good on him. We've got a new sponsor for the show. Well, it's an old sponsor that's returned. It's Trump Cola is back. Trump Cola, the best, the winning cola. They counted wrong, and apparently it's added impeachment goodness.
Ooh.
So yeah, Trump Cola.
There you go. The only sponsor to be on the show twice.
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah, Taste of Impeach. Even though it says cherry, this is cherry flavour. Yeah, coming to a federal prison near you soon. Shall we have some news?
Yes, let's have some news.
News.
And first off, in Birmingham, motorcycle brand makes 21st century comeback news. By the way, I'm also looking forward to some pan pipes later on.
Yes, we'll try and find those.
Motorcycle maker Norton, remember them, is opening a new headquarters following a multi-million-pound investment by its Indian owner, TVS Motor. Norton, which was bought out of administration last April, said that Solar Park in Solihull will be home for the most advanced manufacturing facility in its history. Is it Solihull or Solihull?
It depends if you're posh. If you're from the posh part of, if you're from Solihull and you can afford to go to the private school, I think Richard Hammond of Top Gear fame went there because he's got such a strong Birmingham accent. You say Solihull, but if you're a local, you say Solihull.
But it's going to be the most advanced manufacturing facility in its history, and house all of its employees. The move brings it back to its West Midlands roots. With the new premises situated less than 10 miles from the company, where the company founder and British motorcycling pioneer James Lansdowne Norton started making bike parts. It means that Norton will no longer have any operations at Donington Hall, which I think is near the racetrack, where the group's headquarters were formerly
Yes, up
located.
Nottingham way.
Close to the Donington Park Motorsport Circuit, which also they
Monsters
used
of
to hold
Rock.
some. Yeah, I was going to say.
Mm,
Among the vehicles Norton says it will produce in Solihull, are the Commando Classic model. Ooh, I like to go
nice.
Commando,
Steady.
which was a major seller during the late 60s and 70s, and the limited edition V4SS bike. Can they still
Ooh.
say SS? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
The TBS
Hey, you're
motor.
SS Camaro, and as long
Yes,
as you
I
don't
suppose they
take a
are.
picture with Goebbels in the front seat, you're fine.
That's quite funny because it's also my initials. The
Ah, I guess
TBS
so.
Motor Joint Managing Director Sudarashan Venu, who listens to the show all the time,
Easy for you to say. Yeah,
stated
go
that the,
on.
the new headquarters represents a significant step forward for the brand and will create the foundations for a sustainable long-term future of Norton. It was founded in 1898, and the
Wow.
firm became one of the world's most iconic motorcycle makers and was a familiar presence on the prestigious racing events such as the Isle of Man TT Racing, whose inaugural event saw Rem Fowler win the twin-cylinder class on a Norton bike.
Mm.
Norton manufactured around a quarter of the motorcycles of all motorcycles, and used to be the British military, used by the British military during World War II, which
Mm.
struggled financially afterwards despite the popularity of its Commando range. And it went through a variety of owners. Beautiful looking bike.
I
Love
mean,
the colour.
yeah. Yeah, that's an original 60s one. That is not the new one. So
Right.
this could be a good thing. I actually live round the corner from where the the people that founded Norton, the
Right.
family that founded Norton used to live.
Ooh.
Yes, they've now chopped up their old mansion into lots of private, expensive apartments, and they're sort of flogging it with this Norton logo. Now, here's a good thing. So the other people that have done this are Enfield. So where you
Royal
live,
Enfield. Yeah.
Royal
Yeah.
Enfield. Now they are manufactured in India, but they are assembled in this country up in
Yes.
Redditch. So Enfield being formerly a gun, actually, was it
Yeah.
a gun manufacturer?
Enfield. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so what they do, a very basic bike in India, and you can buy a brand new Enfield, I think, for less than £4,000. So if
Oh.
Norton, also being owned by an Indian mogul,
Yeah.
go down that route, it could really
Absolutely.
do well for the brand. I
Mm.
think that's what you want to do, because this is not going to be bought by. This is trying to recapture the glory days. I mean, Triumph have gone completely the other way. Triumph new bikes are very, very new. Even the
Yeah.
classic looking Bonnevilles, the new ones, they're not like the old bikes. This is a sort of bike. If they make it like the old ones, and put electric starters on it, put electric fuel injection,
Yeah.
but make it
Modernise
more
it
of
a
a
bit.
cheaper bike. Make it, because it's such a great brand. I once
Mm.
DJ'd for the Harley Davidson Owners Club of Thailand for a
Nice.
charity event. I think I only got 50 quid and some beer, but it was for charity. And I wore a Triumph T-shirt because my granddad used to work at Triumph.
I did see there's a Harley Davidson dealership in Chelsea, just off the King's Road. I
Oh,
passed
really?
it driving back from work. Is that all?
I
Harley
think
Davidson
I
dealership.
think the problem with the Harley Davidson is I love the idea, and I see them, and then I see the sort of saddlebags with the little gay sort of tassels on, and I go, you look in America, you'd look like a man over here. It's a bit like driving a Cadillac in England. You'd look bloody ridiculous. Only my opinion. If you do
Mm.
drive a Cadillac, good luck on that. But yeah, let's hope good luck for Norton coming back. Meanwhile, in the worst year for car sales since Gary Glitter was in the charts, we've got a theme going this week. New registrations slumped to their lowest level in January in half a century, as lockdown measures forced the closure of showrooms, stifled demand, and the auto industry's trade body said last week. Now, sales fell almost 40% year on year, just over 90,000 sales in the month, the lowest recorded since 1970.
Wow.
According to data from SMNT, the
Mm.
Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, although I'll argue that it is the 2020 was the worst year. for car sales since the end of World War II. That's my argument. Sectors
Yes.
inside said the turndown was as good as could be anticipated, given that England and Scotland have been under lockdown, toughest lockdowns restrictions since January the 5th, and said the success of click and collect services shows there's still plenty of appetite for new models. One of those cars high in demand during the lockdown is the Vauxhall Corsa. The maker's latest Super Mini has overtaken the Ford Fiesta. Don't know why. The UK's bestseller for 12 years running to become the most bought motor so far in 2021.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Why aren't Ford doing as well? Might say something about Corsa drivers. I don't know. I hate Vauxhall. Not a GM
Of course,
fan.
they're coming up later on.
Yeah, oh, right, I know. But while petrol car sales sunk 50%, diesel sales by more than 60%. Sales of hybrid and electric cars rose annually. Car showrooms have been forced to close their doors to the public since the start of the year, which was always going to limit vehicle sale volumes in January. 90,000 new models that have been purchased so far in 2021 were predominantly bought online and over the phone and collected outdoors at dealer sites on a socially distant manner. Hang on. Who would buy a click and collect car? Even a new one. I wouldn't go, I'll have that one, please. Bing. What, and expect it to turn up with no scratches on? No extra mileage? I mean, I'm sorry. I like to kick a tyre. I like to get some floor mats thrown in.
That's part of the bargaining.
I want to get the free clear coat or whatever they offer. They never offer that. They just want you out of there. They want the sale and they want you gone. But yeah, sad news, really. But you can't get out there and you can't buy a new car. My friend, who's the only person I know that's bought a new car, had it delivered from Wolverhampton. That's how far he had to drive. So he found one in Manchester. They wanted 300 quid to deliver it, and he said, "Nope, can't afford that." Phone Wolverhampton. They said, "Right, it's down from 13 grand to 10 grand," and he said, "Will you deliver it?" And they went, "If you pay the 10, we'll deliver it." So his car came the other day. I think it's you're doing the next one.
I am. Meanwhile, in What's Safer, a bus, a car, or unicycle news, a new UK report has outlined which road users pose the greatest risks to you when you're out and about, depending on whether you're a car driver or cyclist or pedestrian. The study, which was called What Kills Whom, was published by the Parliamentary Advisory Council for Transport Safety, known as PACTS, and analysed the latest available road casualty figures to provide a breakdown of which types of vehicles are most likely to cause harm, especially to those considered to be the most vulnerable. The morbid analysis is based on all the records of road deaths in 2019 in the UK, when 1,752 people lost their lives. Great Britain is among the world's nations with the safest roads, but the decline in the annual death toll has plateaued in recent years. This has led to calls by MPs to do more to bring fatalities down, although with Britain the second safest in Europe, there are questions over what more can be done. One piece of analysis that could help is to review the impact of each road user, which Pat has compiled here. It states that the casualty stats are best for analysis of which users present the greatest risks because they are the most cause of most concern, and the records are most reliable and the information is most likely to be complete. The aim of What Kills Whom report is to show the total casualties associated with each major travel mode and the level of danger imposed on other road users. It specifically says that it does not intend to proportion blame to different users. The data on not only breaks down the impact on vulnerable road users, but also paints a clear picture of casualties linked to each vehicle type. So, which mode of transport kills the most people? We'd like to know. An elephant, a tandem bicycle, a shock driving a Ford Transit. Well, let's find out with another top of the pop style countdown. It's top of the pop style countdown with the top 5 modes of transport in the UK that kill the most pedestrians.
All right, in at 5, get your motor running, get out on the highway, and watch out for those on foot. The humble motorbike killed a mere 14 pedestrians in 2019. Moving up at 4, but ding ding, tickets please. The ever-present and always late bus claimed 29 fatalities of people on foot. I hope they weren't waiting for the bus. In at 3, and the mode of transport that takes bronze medal in our countdown of the most dangerous modes of transport for those on foot was the white van man. Small vans and trucks claimed 33 lives in 2019. It's always the bridesmaid and never the bride at 2 for the big boys. The HGV lorry killed 51 pedestrians in 2019. Who said the movie Duel was made up? And coming in at number 1 spot by a big margin, the mode of transport that kills more people on foot than anything else, the most popular swan, shockingly, the car, claimed 305 lives in 2019. Makes you think it's safer to be a driver than a walker. And that's your countdown for the most dangerous forms of transport on UK roads.
Look at the mess in there. Look at that.
Yes, and it wasn't me. That'll buff out, though. That'll buff out, especially the burgundy one. That'll be fine.
Obviously, we're not making fun of this, but it is kind of serious. But I would also say the fact that there's more cars on the road statistically,
that's what I said in my Alan Freeman kind of way. It's the most popular form of. Now, this study is so interesting because it says if you're more likely to kill a pedestrian in a car, but you look at the risk of having an accident, the motorbike is way up there. It's likely who is going to get hurt most. Well, the motorbike is something like the stats are something. If you get into a plane and take it, well, nobody's going to plane at the moment, but if you go in a plane and take a journey across the Atlantic, it's something like 1 in 3 million, 1 in 4 million chance that you won't make it to the other side. If you get in a car, it's something like 1 in 1.5 million. On a motorbike, it's 1 in 50. Wow. 1 in 50, and you go. It's the shortest. It's the shortest odds going. I must say though, did you ever play that game when you were a kid in the back of the car and try and encourage your dad to hit the granny crossing the road? Dad, speed up! 8 points for the granny. Or was it just me? Just me. Can I also show? I want to go back to the last story. Who would buy a car like this? This is the weirdest. I don't know.
There's a bit of autoerotica going on there.
It is a little bit.
Stroking that window. By the way, if you are going to catch a plane, it's going to cost you an extra £1,700 probably from next week.
Yes, and a 10-year jail sentence if you want to go to the Algarve, which is very strange. I thought that would be fine to go there. Finally, and if you fancy an old Jaguar, you're going to need £2 million money in new money news. The legendary 50s sports car that sent Jaguar leaping to its golden age of racing is being recreated for the 21st century.
24th century.
Like Buck Rogers. For the 21st century, like Buck Rogers, but with a £2 million price tag. It does look very nice. An exclusive limited run of the curvaceous C-Type continuation cars are being hand-built at Jaguar's world-class Classic Works facility on the outskirts of Coventry. Yeah, because they don't make any at Browns Lane anymore. Close to where the original cars were created, at Browns Lane, where all my family used to work. But never mind Jaguar. Take a deep breath. Jaguar Classic is launching 8 collector's models to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the legendary C-Type competition car, which took 7 victories at the grueling Le Mans 24-hour endurance race, driven, of course, by champions including Sterling Moss. It paved the way for decades of racing success that followed for classics like the D-Type and the much-loved E-Type of the 60s and 70s. No prices have been announced. It's going to depend on the individual specification. They'll be in line with earlier continuation cars, so it's going to be up to about £2 million. Only 8 new C-Type continuation cars will be built ahead of racing-inspired event for their owners in 2022. Each of the cars will reflect the 1953 Le Mans Winning Works team car spec, including 3.4-litre straight-six, triple Weber 40 DC03 carbs, 220 bhp. Significantly, they're going to have disc brakes, though. Certified for use on the track, the C-Types and the 1950s technology won't be legal on UK roads. Sorry, I'm not showing that properly. What's the point?
I was going to say it's a very expensive paperweight toy because not only that, have they not seen that it's now going to cost them an extra 20 quid to drive into cities?
Yes.
So you can't use it anywhere.
You can't use it anywhere. You can't drive on the road. You can't go in the city. I like these side pipes. That's beautiful. Yes. Hang on, there's another one here where you can see the side pipe slightly better. Look at that.
Gorgeous.
What? But my question being, and the interior, that doesn't do it justice. That picture does not. That's a proper old school interior with
Yeah.
Smith's dials and all sorts. The point being, why don't Jaguar just make this? Why
Yes.
don't you take? I mean, they used to own Ford. Why don't you take some old Mondeos? You could fiberglass the body.
Yeah. If you're going to go to the expense of actually producing these, you might as well do it properly.
Just do it properly, and make I don't know 3,000 of them. You will
Yeah.
sell them like hotcakes. I'd buy that. That's
And
wonderful looking car.
of course, economies of scale. The more you produce, the more cheaply it can be done.
And maybe open up the old factory in Coventry and give people some bloody jobs.
And some skills to make them.
That would be nice. I mean, because of all, well, talking of Coventry, of course, all the car designers come from Coventry. I've got to be careful what I say about Jaguar Land Rover because my sister still works there. But yeah, just do it. It's not hard. You've got the best designers in the world, all come from Coventry Polytechnic, the Lanchester, where my dad went. They've named. I think there was a car named after the bloody university, the Lanchester. So there we go. Shall we? Is it time for the classic car selection?
Classic car, it is.
Hang on, let me find the jazz band. Ah, here they are. Here they come. Hello, guys. Excellent.
Of course, slightly annoyed they're going to have to pay £1,700 to go on tour next year whenever anyone's allowed out.
They're going to go on a virtual Zoom tour, I think.
Yes.
In a smoky basement, all high on opioids. Oh yeah, they're really liking the thought of that. Yeah, jazz.
So it's a classic car selection. This week's classic car is an unusual one. It's a small European hatchback that was introduced in the 1984 Paris Motor Show. It's the Seat Ibiza Mark 1.
It's an Ibiza.
Ibiza. While it may not have been such a popular sight on British roads, it sold 1.3 million units until its launch of the second generation in 1993, and it launched the Spanish manufacturer into the mainstream market. This version was advertised as having Italian styling and German engines.
Built by the Spanish.
Yeah. Having its bodywork being designed by Giugietto Giugiaro of Ital Design and being prepared by the German car manufacturer Karmann. It was based on the Seat Ronda. Yes, that was the name, Ronda, which is also the Fiat Strada, but we should gloss over that. Okay. It was a small family car. It was based on the Fiat Ritmo. The gearbox and powertrain were developed in collaboration with Porsche, hence why I don't know if you remember the phrase "System Porsche," which you often saw on the side of the cars. Or I think there used to be one that was across the road from me when I was little. It was black with gold stickers on the side that said "System Porsche" and had a white reflector on the back. Despite Porsche's direct involvement in the Ibiza's engine, it was only after paying a royalty of 7 German marks per car sold back to Porsche that Seat gained the right to put System Porsche inscription on the engine blocks. Using a compact car as its basis, the terms of size, it was larger than most of the super minis, like the Ford Fiesta, the Opel Corsa, Vauxhall Nova, but smaller than any small family car such as the Ford Escort or the Opel Kadett. Astra. The luggage capacity was started from 320 litres and increased to 1,200 litres after folding seat down. It was launched in the UK market in September 85, where the brand was launched there along with the Malaga Saloon. It was largely competed with budget offerings like the Hyundai Pony, remember that?
Oh, yes.
And gave budget buyers a more
That's
modern
what we should call Pup of the Week, the Hyundai Pony.
It gave budget buyers a more modern alternative to the outdated offerings from Lada, Skoda, Yugo, and FSO. The interior space was good, but styling was fairly unimaginative, even though it was known for having a largely quirky interior, instrument layout, by the lack of control stalks. The indicators were operated by a rocker switch, and the headlights by a sliding switch. It had 3 trim levels: the L, GL, and GLX. This goes into what we were talking about last week's show. They have several other versions, such as the bass, the special, the disco. There was a disco.
Yes. I got disco
Chrono.
in my shirts, Ibiza. It sounds great, French.
The Chrono, the designer, and the fashion, and lastly the SXI, which is obviously the
What about
sporty one.
the Rusto?
Yes, we'll get to that. As power outputs dropped due to more stringent emissions requirements, a 1.7 litre version of the engine was developed for the Sportline version. For the same reason, 110 bhp version, turbocharged version of 1.5 was developed for the Swiss market. Of all places in 1989. And in the meantime, Seat had already signed a cooperation agreement with Volkswagen in 1982. And in 1986, the German car maker became Seat's major shareholder. The Ibiza Mark I received a light restyling in '89 with a facelift and some mechanical modifications. It's referred to as the second series, although it can be hard to distinguish from the original. Most obviously, its shift from black plastic grille to 7 bars was one of 4 body-coloured ones, with some models receiving new side mouldings. So, what do you look for? We'll keep this brief. As usual, most common problem is, as we said, rust. Particularly around the wheel arches and door seals. Mechanically, parts are easy to come by, surprisingly, but not interchangeable with the VW group, as this was produced before VW had any influence. Badly maintained low-spec models. By the way, this is the engine bay. I don't know if you see that. There is the spare wheel is in the engine bay.
Oh wow, that's old school. That says there's not much engine.
Look how far forward the engine
My
is
goodness.
as well.
Oh my
Beyond the front
goodness.
wheels. So,
Oh, weight ratio probably a bit better.
yeah. Yes. So, how much would you spend? Badly maintained low-spec models can be found for as little as under £1,000. But I found a mint SXI model, which is the sportier one.
Okay.
Which is, let's have a look. We've got it somewhere. It's the SXI model. But
yes.
I found this one with 63,000 miles on the clock.
Yes.
In nice and dry Alicante of all places.
But
you can buy that
bien.
for a smidge under £3,000. It's quite a sporty car. It's not too bad, but spare wheel in the front. That's what did it for me.
Yeah, that's taking me back. Do you know what? I've got a feeling my Fiat Panda from 1983 had a spare wheel in the front. It might not have done, but I've got a feeling it did.
If you've owned a car with a spare wheel under the bonnet, let us know. Send us in your pictures. Or tell us
Trabant we drove have a spare wheel in the front. It did have an engine.
I don't think the Trabant had anything.
No. We had a wooden square.
There was a gerbil on one of those wheels that was going
That is
fine.
That's absolutely fine. Great German car. It's got me thinking, actually, that's not bad if you think your Escort from that era will cost you an absolute fortune. It's a very unique car. There is a guy around the corner from me that drives a red, beautiful 1983 Alpha, and again, it's very unique, and it's just like that. It's a little hot hatch, and it's like that's very unique. It got me
something different.
It got me thinking, though. It's like, did all the members of the most successful cars of since the end of World War II have always been made by the Axis powers? Have you noticed this?
Yes.
The Japanese, I know the Spanish weren't a member of the Axis, but pretty much they were friends. Franco was mates with Mussolini and Hitler. So you got the Germans, Mercedes, BMW, the Japanese, Honda and Toyota, and a million other brands. The Italians, Ferrari, Fiat. The Spanish. Do you think a totalitarian regime gives birth to a great car industry?
I think so. That could well be it.
Maybe seeing some sort of pattern here. Well done. If you want to get your classic car, or suggest a classic car, you can email the boys at car-boys@outlook.com. Facebook, car-boys at Car-Boys with 4 Zs. Car-Boys also with the Z. Car-Boys at car_boys is Twittering. Instagram, the one where they show the boobies, at car_boys. Not us though. We have got them, but don't show them. At car_boys, 3 Zs in your Instagram.
We do have Jenny Agutter though on there.
Oh, Jenny Agutter. She's a great fan of the show. We haven't seen Jenny for a while, and hopefully at some point she will be joining us live. Can you imagine if we could get Jenny Agutter onto the show?
Good.
I'd like to. That wasn't me. That was. That might be signifying something. I'm queuing it up incorrectly because it's time for the turn of the week.
There you go. Subheading Pick of the
Hang on.
Pups.
That's you need nurse for that one.
Time now for one of the new features we've introduced for this year on the show, where we examine terrible crimes committed against cars from across the world, from printing a whale tail of a spoiler onto a 1996 Ford Mondeo, or to pasting just over the rust with plastic padding on a Vauxhall, maybe the weld in a baked bean can to your exhausts. But basically, find the car on sale across the world that is terrible and dare to mount the pile of feces to be crowned the glorious king of the hill. It is now time for Car-Boyz. Pup of the week or turd of the week, whichever you want to do. They're interchangeable. This week we had an email from Alfred in Doncaster. That's a
Hello.
very traditional name
Do
for
you think
someone in
Alfred's
Doncaster.
under 80?
Possibly. That's good to know if he is. That is watching.
I heard
the
of Victor the other day in the playground.
internet.
I was playing with my kids and somebody said Victor, and I expected some
Ooh,
old guy to come along with a stick. There was a little
but it was
kid
a
called
child.
Victor.
Fantastic. Alfred in Doncaster spotted this car for sale on a popular car sales website, no revealing which one. It's a 2000 Vauxhall Corsa hatchback. There you
Oh,
go. With a mere 75,000 miles on the clock, this car has a powerful, not powerful, 1.2 litre engine. It's manual, which is good. It has a 5-speed gearbox again, which is good. It comes with a radio cassette player, which is of
ooh,
that time.
very period.
But yes, but what really stands out in this car is the wonderful paint that is fading fast in the solo single by anyone from One Direction. You can try and use T-cut on that, but it's faded because the red paint oxidizes in UV daylight. You really need to wax older cars and solid colors such as this, but they haven't, and it looks pink. There
Yes,
you go, on the
the
bonnet.
the owner writes, and I'll read this:
Yes.
selling spares or repair. This has
Ooh.
no MOT and has been sworn will need to be towed away. Starts first time and runs okay. Issues that I know of. Issue or should be read as issues that I'll admit
Oh,
to.
that's always
Corrosion on
worrying.
bodywork, at least one coil spring, occasional acceleration flat spots, could be something or nothing. I imagine it's something. Has been in the family since new, was serviced every year until about 5-ish years ago. Would be a great restoration project for somebody that wants a 1.2 Corsa
No.
from the late 90s, early noughties. More mechanically minded than me. Part service history, red, 4 owners, 250 quid. I'm sorry, this stinks.
Yes.
How do you know it's got flat spots? And when you accelerate, if you can't drive it, it's been off the road for a few years, which means it
Mm.
had those when it went off the road a few years
Yeah.
ago, because it's got no MOT. If it's been in the family since new, why are the
Yeah.
4 owners?
Yes.
Wouldn't you just
That
like
doesn't make sense. Yeah.
dad gives it to son? Well, you might as well just keep it registered here. I think this is a literal and figurative non-starter. We salute you, faded pink Corsa, a turd of the week. So you were going to
Awful
say
car.
you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say it's absolutely awful. I did have a friend that had one of these Corsas, 3-door, red. And what we
Yes.
were going to do when he was one time before we finished work, we were going to paint a white stripe on the side like Starsky and Hutch,
Oh,
but never
yeah.
got round to doing it.
So you can the problem with these they just didn't use the correct paint back then. I
Yeah,
had
not enough pigment in there.
I used to drive a VW Polo from the early 90s and it did the same thing. It just leached out and you can
Yeah,
cut it, but it still comes back that same chalky
pink.
white.
Yeah.
Chalky white pink. And wasn't that one of Jim Davison's characters, Chalky White Pink? I think he was
Possibly.
possibly. If you would like to get the turd of the week onto the show, we've got had some brilliant. I mean, we're looking for that. We're looking for complete non-starters that people would
Yeah.
like money for, and they're not going to get money for that. You'd be better off. I tell you what, you would be better off if I could suggest it to anybody who is selling a banger. Stock
Yes.
car racers. They're always
Yes.
after cars. They will
Yep.
take anything. Now, the problem is, a few years ago, people were giving away cars free. My grandfather picked up a H-Reg. So was it a 91, 92
Yeah.
Vauxhall
1990.
Amiga? I think it was the
Oh, okay.
Amiga. And the
Yeah.
guy said, it's just run out of MOT. I've got a new car. The garage won't take it. And they went,
Yeah.
can you just, had about 100,000 on the clock. And my grandfather let it sat on his driveway for a year, and a bloke knocked on the door. He said for sale, and he gave him 50 quid for it for stock car. He came and picked it up.
Fantastic.
It smashed the windows
Yeah.
out. Big, heavy car. Even a little one like that. Stock car guys will take them.
Fantastic. Good plan. Good thinking.
Get your non-starter onto the Car-Boyz at the usual address. Now,
All on the screen now.
all on the screen where it was. Are you ready? Now let's see if we can get it queued up. I'm hoping I've got it queued up at the right spot. It's disappeared now. I've been adding too much music to this. Here we go. We're hoping for panpipes. Well, it's a bit more country this week. I really should prep this show slightly more. Oh, this is nice. It's a bit more Brokeback, isn't it?
Yes.
You really want those panpipes, though, don't you?
I do.
Oh no, this is a bit now more quite inbred. Ah, you got a pretty mouth. Here we go. And it's royalty free, so Sergio Leone can't sue us.
Fantastic.
This is Lost Highways, isn't it?
Yes, that new music must imply that it's time for our feature where listeners email us in and give us their favourite roads and the reasons why they love them. It could be a quiet coastal road that leads down to the sea. Alternatively, it could be a straight two-lane blacktop that leads to infinity and invites you to gun the pedal to the metal. Whatever your poison is, let us know your perfect driving roads here on Car-Boyz. And first in the Highways inbox, it is Trevor from Portsmouth. Hello, Trevor from Portsmouth. He says, "Dear Car-Boyz, long-time viewer, first-time writer."
Nice.
That's
a
radio
talk, that is it? Yeah.
Yeah. My favourite drive is
our radio. We're ready for our photographs for our portfolio with the radio DJs.
Hey, we've got to have our photographs like this.
Slightly from the side. Yeah, that's right. But I need to be leaning over a soundboard. On 95.6, The Dog.
You have to have your headphones around your neck.
That's right, around your neck. Big DT100s. Big DT100s. That's right. Stay tuned. Britney Spears next.
By the way, we are sporting the same headphones, but
We
if
are.
the company that makes this wants to sponsor us, get in touch with us because we would gladly give you a name check. But we're not going to do that till you give us some money. He says his favourite driving road is Singapore. It's the Bayfront Avenue, which runs along the southern side of Marina Bay. Starting at Central Boulevard in the west, the road passes the Marina Bay Sands Integrated Resort. The road then passes the Bayfront Bridge at the south, where it continues towards Raffles Avenue. Is that where the hotel is? The Raffles Hotel?
Yes. Yes. And the Long Bar.
The direct connection between Temasek Avenue and Central Boulevard, as well as the Marina Boulevard, it provides the road access to developments in the Marina Bay area, such as the Gardens by the Bay, Marina Bay Financial Centre, and Marina Bay Sands. And you were well. Take in the views of Singapore's impressive city skyline while driving into the centre via Bayfront Avenue. The road spans the whole stretch, lined with Singapore's iconic landmarks, both old and new, namely the Helix Bridge, the Esplanade Fullerton Hotel, Singapore, Marina Bay Sands, and Singapore River. While impressive both during the day and night, the city lights in the evening make for a great photo opportunity. There you go, Singapore. And you've been to Singapore?
I've been to Singapore a couple of times. It's not my favourite city in Southeast Asia. The Singaporeans are lovely people, but they are the Swiss of Southeast Asia. They have another word for them, which I will tell you after the show. It's a bit rude.
Okay. All right.
You go to Bangkok or Jakarta or Vientiane or Phnom Penh or Hanoi or Manila or Jakarta or Kuala Lumpur or Kaching, and it's all a bit, hey, it's Southeast Asia. And as a Westerner, I wouldn't go there first. I go to Singapore. But if you come from there, like I lived in Bangkok and I lived in Kuala Lumpur, Singapore is a little bit boring. I've never driven there. Shall I tell you the reason the roads are so good?
Why?
Because you can convert these into, you can land jets on them.
Ah, I was going to say that does look quite wide, that
They
road.
because they fear
It does.
invasion from the Indonesians in the south and Malaysians in the north.
Really?
You can, yeah, I know, but it's going back in the day, going back to the 1960s when Singapore was part of Malaysia, then it split up, and before that it was all
Yeah.
part of a peninsular Malaysia, British Empire. Um,
Ah, I see.
then they split up, and then of course you had dictatorships in the 60s in Indonesia to the south, and then they were like, well, who's going to walk? Singapore's a little island, so they turn the roads, and you can land jets on there. But they're very much like, they
Fantastic.
are the Swiss, to be honest, of Southeast Asia. I've never driven there. To be honest, I hate to say this. Oh, the public transport is wonderful in Singapore.
Really?
It's
Mm.
absolutely. They have the Sky Train there, which works. The buses there,
Yeah.
which are great. I've got a feeling they've got an underground network. I can't remember. I had a few
Fantastic.
drinks. I was only there for a few days. But it's a lovely place to visit. Yes, but I would say if you're going to go to Singapore, you're not going to stay there for the whole of your
Yeah.
holiday. Rent a car and drive into Malaysia, because Malaysia's roads are just as good. The
Nice.
Malaysian road network is fantastic. But
There you
yes,
go.
it's an interesting one. That's why the roads are so wide. They want to land jets on there in times of war. Finally,
Mm.
in this segment, Argy Bargy gets in touch from Pretoria in South Africa. He says, "The Car-Boyz. I've been out on the veldt shooting wildebeest." No, he didn't say that. He said, "If you're up for a challenge and something a bit dangerous, get yourselves down to the
Ooh.
Falkland Islands. It's a long way to go." I knew somebody that went
True.
down there and did radio,
Ooh.
captive audience. The Falklands, I assume Argy Bargy probably is an ex-parrot or something that fought in the Falklands and
Possibly, yeah.
now lives in South Africa,
Mm.
which, from one war zone to another. The Falklands has 862 kilometres of road, although only paved roads are in and around the tiny capital of Port Stanley and RAF Mount Pleasant. The main road on the island is a gravel 92-kilometre Darwin Road, there it is, linking Stanley and Darwin on East Falkland. And it's possible to drive the road in a non 4x4 most times of the year, but you should stick to the road in view of the potential for unexploded ordnance
Yes, nice.
from 1982 conflict. 30, nearly 40 years it's been over,
Still
and there's
there.
still. Shouldn't Diana have been down there with her minesweepers or something? On West Falkland, the main route is a 48-mile gravel road between Port Howard and Fox Bay. They drive on the left like good old British people they are. Argentina. We just lost our Argentinian audience, both of them. And you can use the photo license of any country to drive up here for up to 12 months. Speed limits are 25 miles an hour in built-up areas, and 40.
25?
It's going to be boring, isn't it?
Yes.
Mind you, London is 20 now, allegedly. Not where I live. And 40 miles an hour elsewhere. Because of the condition of most roads and strong winds, extreme care must be taken and exercised when driving outside Stanley or Ollie, especially on the airport road, which accidents are commonplace. My understanding is four-wheel drive vehicles are recommended, and these will generally be required if you plan to drive outside of Stanley.
I'm sorry, Ollie.
I'm sorry, Ollie. Look at it. Well, what do they call it in Argentina? It's the Malvinas, but
I don't
nobody
know.
from Argentina has ever lived there. And the
Ah, I
only
see.
reason they're interested is because apparently it's quite a few. The fishing rights are amazing, and there's a few oil fields there.
I see. Right.
And it's turning quite nationalistic, isn't it, with your Union Jack T-shirts? No, I knew somebody that did radio down there for a couple of years.
Fantastic.
It's very lonely. It's a very lonely place.
Ooh.
Very safe, and looks like a great driving road. Thank you for that. Try and get them in to us. It's the usual address: car-boys@outlook.com, car-boys at Car-Boys 4Zs, Facebook car-boys at car_boys with a Z, at Twitter and Instagram at car_boys with 3 Zs. Time to get my acoustic guitar out. No panpipes, if I can find it. So here we go. Because it's time now on the show to delve into the bulging sack that's known locally as the mailbag. This week it's overflowing. Right, Enough of that. There we go.
I do like
All
that.
right,
I do
guys.
like that little
It's a little
drop.
flourish at the end, isn't it?
Yeah. Cedric88 in Bismarck, North Dakota. Hopefully he's not sinking.
Howdy.
He says, "Hello, Car-Boyz. Hope you're all good." Yes, we are. Sadly, his great uncle passed away in December. We get a lot of letters of people having their cars handed down to us.
Yes.
He was old, not COVID related, which is always good. He lived in New Haven, Connecticut, on
Okay.
the Atlantic coast. Cedric has been gifted an amazing old car
Mm-hmm.
is in two minds whether to keep the car or sell it, as we can see here. It is a 1989 Peugeot 405
Oof.
sedan saloon
As
in
has
silver
teeth. Rare
with
as hen's teeth.
78k on the clock. It's rarer than the Dorvin 2.8 V6 engine with a turbo. He drives an F-150, fantastic as a daily driver, but fancies this as his sporty weekend
Now,
motor.
Simon, you haven't seen this. So that's the picture he sent us.
Yes.
Wait for the interior.
Oh, is that crushed velour?
It's crushed blue velour, and the dash is
Oh,
blue as well. Oh my! I was nursing one looking at this.
I
It,
love this car. Do you know why I love this
go
car?
on.
Because when I was little, I had a little, it must have been about
Oh,
143 scale, something like that, model car of this. And I used to, it was great because the boot used to open up as well. I used to like that. That was my
cool.
favorite little toy car.
Proper old school Peugeot
Yeah.
lights. Now, rare as hen's teeth in Europe, even more so in
Mm.
America. It's usually only the estates that survive.
Okay.
It won't be worth much. It's maybe going to be worth to a collector
Mm.
$10,000 because it's got the Douvrin 2.8 V6 engine
Yeah.
with the turbo. You got to ask yourself: do you need another car, Cedric? Um, do you want this car, and do you want to put money into this car? Because it will take some cash to keep this on the road.
Yes.
This is not a daily driver, but you already said you've got an F-150 for that. You're going to need somewhere to store this as well, because in Connecticut, did he say Connecticut? Yeah, New Haven.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
going to be very much like the French weather, but in North Dakota, you're nearly into Canada. Harsh frozen
Okay.
north will
Yes.
destroy this car within 2 seasons. But this was the Duvan 2.8 became known as the BMW killer because it was so
Okay.
much faster than 3 Series and the 5 Series.
Yeah.
Very fast car. If you've got somewhere to store it, a nice warm garage for winter, and you want to just drive it for the summer, just occasionally take it out, why not? Don't drive it from Connecticut, from the Atlantic coast to the Canadian border. That's going to be 1,700 miles. We looked that up. So get it shipped. Also, find yourself somebody that can work on Peugeots and has got a good reputation for working on European cars. Not complicated, this car, but you want an expert. You don't want somebody that's working on Cadillacs because they'll look at this and go, I don't know what I'm doing here. There used to be, well, I used to work in East London. There used to be a guy had a 1989 one of these parked outside my offices. So this was about 10 years ago, and it was mint, and it was beautiful looking car. No rust on it.
Can I also just say, while he's asking all those questions,
Yes.
one of the questions that he must ask, which is the question,
Yes.
can he live without crushed velour, blue crushed velour?
Nobody can live without. Once he's
No.
run his fingers through that crushed blue velour, and his hair has ended up as spiked as Boris Johnson with static electricity, he will want this car. Then he
Yes.
has to get a cassette tape of Depeche Mode and play it driving around. It's the 80s.
Fantastic.
It's the 80s.
Speak and Spell was the album.
Was it?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? There you go.
Early 80s.
Or I'm thinking of Phil and the Girls. Human League. Human League would be another good
Yes.
one.
Yeah, good
Alice,
album.
24/7 in Somerset, says, "Hi, boys. Love the
Alice.
show." Alice, yeah, that's the theme, isn't it? Who the fuck? I need some help to get a car for my mum. She's about to hit 80 this year. Well, she should take
Miles
a
an
foot off
hour?
the accelerator. Hey!
Hey!
Here a week, twice on Wednesdays. Enjoy the fish, folks. She lives in a village near the Bristol Channel, not a village in the Bristol Channel because that'd be very wet. She needs to get out and about. Her old Renault Megane is too far gone to be repaired. She wants a new car. Yeah, horrible car. What should she go for? It's not a small budget. They've got $5,000.
Okay.
So it's old people section, this part of the show. She wants to go to the shops. She wants to visit friends. She doesn't need
Yeah.
a big car. Right. I'll do the obvious ones, and you can come up with something
Yes.
less obvious. First one. Honda Jazz. Honda Jazz. It is the old person's car. This is a 1.2 auto. Quite slow. I drove one of these 2 years ago, and it was very slow. But you're 80. You're not going to go. You're not going to do 80. Let's face it. It's the new shape. Very reliable car. This one's got 40,000 on the clock. 2013 model. Full service history. 5-door CD player. One
Yeah.
owner. Can be yours for 4,500. And it's the new shape.
Ooh, fantastic.
Again.
Nice.
Now this is.
I was
Go
thinking.
on.
Yeah.
No, go on.
No, I was thinking. What's alternative? Would be something Korean, maybe a Hyundai. But I'm not sure which ones. My knowledge of Hyundais aren't
i10.
that great.
Is it the i10, which is the
Possibly.
little
Yeah.
baby
Yeah.
one, or oh, I'm trying to think of the other
Kia.
yeah, there's another even small. There's a that no, so that's the Hyundai i10. The Kia is the Pride. What replaced the Pride? There is a
Ooh, I
very
remember the
small.
Pride.
There's a
Yeah.
very small Kia that she could get.
Picanto.
The Picanto. I call it another word.
Yes.
Sounds like Picanto. Picasso. She could get that, or I mean, let's face it. Why not get us? The other thing I thought was the Suzuki Celerio, which sounds like an ice cream bar. This is 1 litre, 20k on the clock, 2015. Yours for £5,000. Full electric pack, parking sensors, good for the elderly parking sensors
Yes.
because they tend to clip garage walls. Not mentioning my mother. More sporty than the Honda. Slightly more sporty because it has than the Honda, but reliable, good, cheap city car. Cheap little car. There's plenty to choose from. There's plenty
Something
to
from the
choose from.
Far East is always.
I would stick for a Japanese car. My grandfather, I think, had the Suzuki Wagon-R was his last one.
Oh yeah.
Replacing his old Rover that he didn't want to go. And I just said, look, get an auto, get something easy. And he was like, why didn't I do this like 10 years ago? Like he's in his late 80s. Drive something that just shopping cart. That's all you want, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So there you go. Alice. Well, now we're in Manchester with Malcolm. He says, "All right, Car-Boyz."
Manchester.
I got a question. My son is leaving for university, or is leaving university this summer.
Yes.
Oh, really? Didn't know the universities were open. He has a job lined up in Sheffield, but wants to commute back and forth to Lancashire. He's only 22. Insurance will be astronomical. Is that him?
No, that's just a random picture I got off the internet. I wasn't going to embarrass him on this show. That's what a teenager looks like. There you go.
Yes, he's only 22. Insurance will be astronomical.
I'm from Manchester. I like Oasis.
Has lower insurance costs.
Terry Christian here. Welcome to the word.
That's 2 weeks in a row I mentioned Terry Christian. I would always go for the obvious, which is like the Fiestas and Corsas, because they're pretty cheap and cheerful, easy to maintain, good entry into the world of driving. Is usually what I would.
Insurance is going to be astronomical. I mean, there are cases. I love the case of the 17-year-old. I don't know if you've heard this. About 8 years ago, who needed a car to commute to work. So his parents said, "We don't really want you to get a motorbike. He lives in a village, and it was 3 miles to the supermarket where he worked. So it's it's a little bit too far on a bicycle. They went for the insurance on a car, and it was going to cost them £4,000 for this car. Can't afford that. He went and bought a £1,000 tractor. And it was a £50 insurance, and he used to drive the tractor to and from work. I think he got it up to about 30. I think a tractor could do 30.
And John Deere.
Well, fantastic. That's what he did. Yes, the insurance is the killer. So I was thinking I think the Perodua Nipper, which was the 660cc Malaysian car based on the key car from Japan, they're probably too old. Suzuki Wagon-R. I tell you what it is. This is difficult because I wouldn't suggest one of these cars for long commutes, but original Austin Mini from the early 2000s, classic 1970s VW Beetle. Classic cars have low insurance. But I think what you've said is correct. Ford car, small Japanese car, Polo, the Fox is very cheap. Then put one of those black boxes in to monitor his driving. because that will
Knocks and
bring.
scrapes, don't worry about
Yeah,
them. This, yeah,
yeah,
just
and
get them,
don't
start building up no claims.
yeah, and don't worry about um don't worry about, yeah, he is going to knock and smash this car, so don't worry about
Yeah.
what it looks like. You just want to get from A to B. I could also suggest that maybe he insures it where his dad lives and not where his digs are in Sheffield,
Yes.
because that might be. Or you could just go the other way and just put him on. You could insure the car for you and put him on as a named driver. Is that slightly illegal?
I don't know actually.
I'm not going to do it. Not say I've ever done it. There's a statute of limitations, and
Yes.
I haven't been a learner driver for a few decades. Finally, we got Tina and Dave in Scarborough.
Ooh,
Hello. Yorkshire. No, I'm still doing Teddy Christian. That's all I can do. It's Teddy Christian. I've come to Scarborough with the word. Joining me later, Primal Scream. Now, they're looking for an estate car that'll take 7 people. Mum,
ooh,
Dad, 3 kids, and Nana and Granda. Granda. I don't know. That sounds
ooh.
weird. They got £4,000 max to spend. Maybe a van, maybe a minibus. I had a look at this.
Yes.
In no way. It's going to have to be a people carrier.
Yeah.
There's no estate cars with 7 seats anymore. My uncle had the Volvo estate
Yep.
back in the 80s with 5 seats, and then there were an N of
Bench
seats.
in the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all us kids used to pile into the back, and it had little seat
Fantastic.
belts. But they
Weren't
don't
you
make that
facing the
anymore.
wrong way as well?
Yeah,
Weren't
you facing backwards.
Yeah.
So you could do like this to drivers coming up behind you. Mind you, I was only about 7 or 8, so I probably didn't do that. They don't make cars like that anymore. I think it's illegal. Now,
Yes.
the ones I picked out, the first one, if you are going to be in this all the time with Nana and Granda and Teddy Christian and the 3 kids, you are going to need something big because of luggage. So I went for this 2004 Toyota Previa, low miles, 60,000. Full service history, plenty of room, 2.4 litre petrol engine, which I think was the same one that went in the Camry. Going to be reliable. It's old, so it's 16, 17 years old, but it's Toyota. It's reliable. 3,500. So
Absolutely.
I think that is a nice one to get. 60,000 miles. Make sure it's had the cam belt done. Maybe a cam chain. I don't know on that. Now, this is the other thing. Now, if you're only going to be having grandma and granddad in like for little journeys, and you're not going to go on holiday with them, you're probably not. You're just going to get these people round. Then this is a more expensive version, but a newer version. Toyota Verso. It's still a Toyota, less room than the Previa, but more like a car to drive. You're going to need a roof rack to get the luggage in. This is 2-litre diesel, 2010, 52 on the clock, full service history, 2 owners, 4,200. I'm sure you could get them down. And it's really weird because the seats are literally in the boot and they pop up. So you can use it as a standard car. And then I haven't got another shot of this, but it's quite a nice little looking car. And you can.
I think it's the Corolla Verso. Is that what it is? So it's based on the
Yes, it's the Corolla, but with so it's
a little bit bigger.
A little bit bigger, and it has that nice sort of it has that it does what it says when you needed to do it legally. So you can get everybody into the car legally.
And a couple on the roof.
Look, this is. I mean, I go back to the days when my wife tells me stories about her mum and dad having a Mini, and the Mini and getting, I think it was the Mini Club, which was the date one. Well, she's one of 6. So there were children lying on the boot of in the boot of the Mini, the estate went with the half woody one. It's a Countryman, maybe.
Countryman.
Yeah. And kids like smuggled into footwells, but it was the 1980s. Nobody gave a shit.
We did that sort of stuff.
Yes, so you can get your. And I've lost my details for the. I managed to lose my detail. There you go. Write to us. Right, there you go. Email the Car-Boyz usual address, and we'll answer your questions in the mailbag.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you. Think you know your energy management systems from the your oil temperature gauge. Can you tell the difference between a slight misfire and a total engine failure? Then this is the quiz for you, Dashboard Damage. It's where we test the knowledge of a contestant to see whether or not they know what's going on when the lights start blinking from the instrument cluster. I'm your host, Toff Wilson. You may remember me as the posh one from that great BBC TV series, Bottom Gear. Well, they're all down with the kids on BBC TV now, so I'm reduced to doing this. Let's welcome your contestant today for Dashboard Damage. He's a young man. He's come all the way from the tropical shores of sunny Enfield in North London. Here's Simon!
Thank you. Good to be here.
Now, before I ask you, Sam, it's nice to see you here. Before I ask you, I'd just like to say super smashing great. Now, is there anyone you'd like to say hello to? Mum, Dad, maybe the long-lost love from school?
No, I've got no one to say hello to.
Well done.
Whatever the prize is, I'm going to keep it for myself.
Super smashing great. Well, the grand prize up for grabs this week is a lovely picture of a snap-on tool chest. Not the tool chest itself, just the picture of that. What an exciting prospect it would be to own that picture. In Rosso Red. I wish I did have one of these. This is looking really cool. I haven't got the space. My garage is very small. I would love that.
That does look good.
And then within 3 months, it would be a complete mess. Now I'm going to ask you, Simon, a series of multiple choice questions. You'll need to give me your answer, and that will be the final answer I take. It'll either be a or a... So let's play.
Yay.
Dashboard Damage. Thank you, folks. Firstly, Dashboard Damage. What does this symbol on your dash signify? What does this symbol on your dash signify? Does it signify bubbles in the exhaust, air in the exhaust box, an expired catalytic converter, diesel particulate filter issue, or a lack of Swiss cheese in the engine?
I thought it was an engine block with 5, 10, 14 cylinders.
From the top.
I'm going to guess particulates. I don't know.
It is indeed diesel particulate filter issue.
Yay!
Well done.
Atoms.
There you go. Now, almost 2/3 of motorists, that proves how many thick bastards drive cars, don't know this one. Is this seat adjustment failure, loud noise from the engine, tyre pressure issue, or radiator overheating?
I have one of those in my car, and it's very annoying.
Bing! Yes.
It is a tyre pressure warning light thingy.
Yes, you are correct. Tyre pressure issue. I had this on my old BMW M3, and it used to come on all the time, apart from the time when the run flats went flat. And it didn't come on, and all I could smell was burning rubber. And when I go back to my house, having done let's say in excess of 70 around the M25, there were like black skid marks up the road.
Nice.
Tyre pressure gauge. Well done. Yes. 2 out of 2, doing well so far. What should the driver do when he or she sees this light on their dashboard? What does this light signify? I'll get close up there because it's quite a close one. Is it low fuel warning light? Is it low fluid warning light? Is it engine leak warning light? Is it oil warning light? Or is it the genie is trying to escape from Aladdin's lamp? There he is at the end.
Swan.
I'm trying to escape from your lamp. I'm in no way from the Middle East. I'm Robin Williams from the East Coast.
It is oil. It's an oil.
It is indeed. You are correct. It is indeed the genie trying to escape from Aladdin's lamp. Played by me, Robin Williams. Oil warning light. Well done. Right.
Fantastic.
Now,
come on.
Wait, this is so. This could be, mate. I think you're going to win this. This could be yours. Why should you take action when this light comes on? Hang on. Now I've lost one. Hang on. This could be serious. Okay. I have lost one. Stand by, caller.
No.
I want you to win this.
Probably the best.
No, we're okay. Okay. We're okay. I've just got to remember which order they were in. Okay. Question 4. Why should you take action when this light comes on? Is it A? What action should you take? Is it A, stop immediately? B, issue with the braking system? C, road sign alert, D, engine failure warning light.
It is braking system failure.
It is correct. Issue with the braking system. And I don't know about you, but usually it's because I've been a knob end and left my handbrake on.
Handbrake on.
There's a handbrake on warning light.
Handbrake
Well
turn.
done. Well done. 4 out of 4. Doing well so
Yes.
far. Crowd
Come
are
on,
going
snap on.
crazy. Thank you, crowd. Question 5. Almost 3 in 5 people. 3 in 5. I want to know
Wow.
if people are driving very old cars, because old cars don't have these warning lights on. They're
Yes.
just new ones. 3 in 5 people can't name this icon. Does the icon signify airbag fault? Is it B, seatbelt fault? Is it C, steering wheel loose? Is it D, giant sun use visor? Or is it E, giant beach ball tortures man?
With the deck chair splicing straight through him.
Yes.
It's an airbag warning light.
I'm afraid you're incorrect. It's lollipop impales man. Oh, no, of course it is. You're right.
Oh,
Airbag
okay.
fault light. Correct.
Yes.
So far, 5 out of 5. This is even better. That this quiz is not about you anymore. It's about how thick with an F people are.
Yes.
Only 7% of people asked could identify this symbol. Now, it
Okay.
doesn't mean the ferry terminal is this way, but what does it
Yes.
mean? Engine temperature too high, outside temperature too high, key stuck in ignition, D, coolant issue.
It's I'd say coolant, but it's the temperature
Stick
of
with
the
your
engine.
stick with your first thought.
It's coolant.
It is coolant
temperature
issue.
thingy. Yes.
7%.
water.
Yeah, you need water. This means your car is overheating.
There's smoke coming out the bonnet.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Do cars have temperature gauges on them now?
Not all of mine doesn't. My car doesn't have a temperature gauge
I
on it.
think mine does. Yours got a rev counter.
Yes.
The temperature gauge was because it was great because you could see it going into the red.
Yeah.
Maybe
And then you would
people
take
actually
action.
need to be told what the problem is.
Until it's too late and their engine blockers cease.
Seized because there's no water in it because
Yeah.
they're fools. 6 out of 6 on your way to
Woohoo.
winning this fantastic prize, young
Yes.
man. Also a speedboat and a caravan. What is the
Fantastic.
meaning of this symbol? What is the meaning of this symbol? Cassette deck issue. Is it B, ECU shutdown, C, battery issue, or D, can't find Radio 2 on my radio, good mate?
I don't think many people will be finding Radio 2
No, they won't
pretty
say.
soon. It's battery issue.
It is correct. Battery issue. Your battery's knackered or your battery's not charging. The alternator's gone, but you definitely got a battery issue. By the way, if you're
Yes.
watching this at home and you know nothing about cars, do not worry. When you see these lights as you turn your ignition on, they will go off as soon as the
Yes.
camera is running. So
Yeah.
turn your ignition on, they run, and these lights will all disappear. This is pretty obvious, but not to all. Apparently not to
Oh,
most
no.
people. What does this signify? Simon mentioned it at the top of the show, and it doesn't signify
Yes.
whatever he said. Is it A, a broken steering wheel? B, an accelerator and brake pedal snapped? C, anti-lock braking system issue? Or D, advanced braking system issue?
Ooh, it is, of course, anti-lock braking issue.
Anti-lock braking issue saved my arse on numerous times. Let me go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 6 cars have had ABS, and I
Wow.
love ABS. I love that. Ja, 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 ja.
And the pedal.
You get.
Yeah.
It sounds the most horrific thing in the world, but it has saved my arse.
Yeah.
Thinking on the A4 when some stupid woman drove in front of me very quickly. She was
Mine's
elderly.
usually parked cars that don't know how to pull out of spaces.
Or just don't look.
Yes.
Okay, sticking with the idiots. 3 in 10 people can't guess what this symbol means. 3 in 10 of people in the British Isles can't guess. Out of survey, we asked 1,000 people, and 3 in 10 couldn't tell what this was. 3 out of 10. Is it clutch warning light? Is it transmission warning light? Is it engine warning light? Is it suspension warning light? Which one is it?
It looks like it's got a propeller, and engines don't
Yes.
look like that anymore. But it's the
No.
engine warning
Of
light.
course, it is the engine in my biplane, my Tiger Moth, my Sopwilf Camel is failing to take off. It's the engine warning light. Seriously, 3 and
Yes.
10. Finally, now, if you guess this, I'm going to
Yes.
give you 10 out of 10 because you've been a great lad and your bendy bully's safe.
Fantastic.
Your bendy bully's safe. Your money's safe. You came with a thick bloke all the way from Wolverhampton, but that's all safe. And you want to win the speedball. I'll be surprised if you can tell me what this final one means. This engine, this management system. And I'm just trying to get all the Sanskrit in there.
Yes.
Any clue? We know there's a
problem
problem
of some variety.
in an Indian car.
It must mean you're something to do with some kind of god, I think. I don't know.
Well, I've translated this, and it actually refers to. It says, "Help me! I own a 1986 Nissan Bluebird, and I'm picking up a Mr. Smith from the Xanadu nightclub in Romford at 2:30 a.m." That is an official. That's from a minicab. I mean, I don't make these things up. So we're going to give you that. You got 10 out of 10. We're going to give you 10 out of 10. It was a hard one, that last one, and that fantastic snap-on toolbox. It's making you drool, that, isn't it? Can be yours, and it will be yours. That's it from the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. I think we're going to be back next week. It depends.
It should be.
Yeah, I've got a lot on, and no, but we'll be back next week. We'll always be back, and
We'll just have a rerun.
We'll have a rerun. We'll just do the best of the best for February. I mean, it's not as if we've got anything else to do at the moment, is it? We should make a best of the best show every month.
Every
and we'd
month.
get to work. We'd only have to work 3 weeks.
3 weeks
out of 4. I quite like that.
February's a shorter month as well.
Yeah, why not? Of course, it's Valentine's this weekend. Will you be spending Valentine's with anybody?
No, I am available. All the contact details, get in touch, please.
Via Zoom. Socially distanced online sex. Yes. What is that website?
I've got protection, it's fine.
What is that website that you can sell yourself on? Maybe we should get you on that.
I might already be on it.
OnlyFans or Only Friends? That's what Car-Boyz is going to turn into. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time. Have a fantastic week. Speak soon. Goodbye.
Bye.